My wife's friends accused me of control for not paying for her time with other men, so I quietly packed her bags. And the fallout shocked everyone. I am a 32-year-old male, and I work as a construction project manager here in Dallas. It is good work. I make around $87,000 managing residential developments, and I have always been the type to save money and invest smartly. I have been putting away money since I was 18. I bought my own house at 29 and drive a reliable 2018 Ford F-150 that is paid off. My best friend Tony always jokes that I am quietly wealthy because I live below my means, but I have got about $165,000 in savings and investments. Let me paint you a picture of my life before this mess. I wake up at 5:30 every morning, hit the gym for an hour, then get to the job site by 7 o'clock. I manage about 6 to 8 residential construction projects at any given time. Everything from custom homes to small developments. I coordinate with electricians, plumbers, roofers, you name it. I deal with city permits, material deliveries, safety inspections, and keeping everything on schedule and under budget. It is stressful, but I am good at it, and I genuinely enjoy building things that last. There is something satisfying about watching a foundation get poured, walls go up, and families eventually move into homes that will be there for decades. My house is a modest 3-bedroom, 2-bath place in a quiet neighborhood. Nothing fancy. I bought it for $180,000 when the market was down. It has got a nice front porch, a decent-sized backyard, and solid bones. I have slowly been upgrading it myself over the years, refinished the hardwood floors, updated the kitchen cabinets, installed new fixtures. I have got a workshop in the garage where I restore old tools and furniture in my spare time. I know I am about as exciting as watching paint dry, but I was content with my life. I had a routine, financial security, and plans for the future. I met my ex-wife, Brittany, a 26-year-old female, at a friend's pool party about 3 years ago. She was working as a social media coordinator at some marketing startup downtown, which basically meant she managed Instagram accounts for small businesses all day. Brittany was absolutely stunning, the type of girl who turns heads everywhere she goes. Blonde hair that always looked perfect. Blue eyes, perfect figure. She was wearing this red bikini that day, and every guy at the party was trying to talk to her, but for some reason, she kept coming back to talk to me. "You are different from the other guys here," she said, sitting next to me while I was grilling burgers. "You seem so stable." At the time, I thought that was a compliment. Looking back, I realized she was sizing me up as a potential provider. We talked for hours that day. She told me about her job, how she was trying to build her own personal brand on the side, and her family back in Oklahoma who owned a small farm. I told her about my work, the houses I was building, my investment strategy, and my 5-year plan. She seemed genuinely interested, asking detailed questions about construction timelines, what it was like managing crews, and whether I enjoyed the business side or the hands-on work more. "It is so refreshing to meet a man who has his life together," she said as the sun was setting. "Most guys my age are just playing video games and living with roommates. You actually have goals, and you are working toward them." I was completely smitten. This gorgeous woman appreciated my responsible lifestyle and seemed to share my values about building something stable and lasting. Our first official date was the following weekend. I picked her up at her apartment, a small 1-bedroom place she shared with a roommate, and took her to this nice steakhouse downtown. She ordered the most expensive item on the menu, a $45 filet mignon. But I figured she was just treating herself since it was a special occasion. What I did not realize at the time was that she took about 20 photos of her food before taking a single bite. She spent the first 10 minutes of the meal getting the perfect shot of her plate, adjusting the lighting, trying different angles. Looking back, there were red flags everywhere that I completely ignored. She always wanted to go to the most expensive restaurants in the city, never suggesting cooking at home or grabbing something casual. She would browse through the menu and somehow always land on the priciest items. She constantly talked about her co-workers' designer purchases, showing me photos on her phone of bags and shoes that cost more than my monthly truck payment. And she took endless photos of everything: food, outfits, herself, us together. Every single meal became a 15-minute photo session before we could actually eat. What really should have tipped me off was how she talked about money. She would make comments like, "I deserve nice things, and life is too short to settle for cheap stuff." When I would mention saving money or talk about my investment accounts, she would get this glazed look in her eyes like I was speaking a foreign language. But when I would talk about potential raises or bonuses at work, suddenly she was very interested. Still, I was smitten. She seemed sweet most of the time and kept talking about wanting to settle down with a man who has his life together. She would say things like, "I am so tired of dating boys who do not have any ambition. I want to be with a real man who knows what he wants and how to get it." We dated for about 10 months before I proposed. The engagement ring cost me $14,000. She had picked it out herself, naturally. We were at the jewelry store just looking, she said. But somehow we ended up spending 3 hours there while she tried on different rings. She found this one 5-carat diamond solitaire and went on about how perfect it was, how it was exactly what she had always dreamed of. She even took a photo of herself wearing it and posted it on Instagram with the caption, "A girl can dream, right?" I took the hint. I went back the next week and bought it. The sales guy remembered me and had it all ready to go. Our wedding ended up costing $42,000, even though I originally budgeted for half that amount. I suggested we could have a nice ceremony for $20,000 and use the rest as a down payment on a bigger house. But Brittany had other ideas. She wanted the full fairy tale, designer dress, professional photographer, premium flowers, upgraded catering package, open bar, live band instead of a DJ. "This is a once-in-a-lifetime event," she would say whenever I questioned the costs. "I want our wedding to be perfect. Don't you want me to have the wedding of my dreams? This is important for my personal brand, too. These photos will be on my Instagram forever." So, I took out a personal loan to cover the extra costs. The wedding was beautiful. I will give her that. She looked absolutely stunning in her $3,500 dress, and all the photos turned out professional quality. Her Instagram followers went crazy over the pictures. She gained about 500 new followers just from the wedding posts alone, and she was posting wedding content for weeks afterward. That is when my buddy Tony became crucial to this story. Tony works in construction with me. He is a crane operator and has been my best friend since high school. We played football together, went through our wild college years together, and he was my best man at the wedding. Tony has this incredible ability to read people and situations. Plus, he is hilarious and completely honest. He is the type of guy who tells you exactly what he thinks, whether you want to hear it or not. He has also never been married himself, saying he has seen too many guys get taken to the cleaners. Tony took one look at Brittany and her new friend group at our wedding reception and told me straight up, "Man, your wife is about to become a major problem." "What do you mean?" I asked. We were standing at the bar while Brittany was off taking photos with her bridesmaids. She has got that look in her eyes like she is always calculating something, always thinking about what she can get out of every situation. And those friends of hers, they are trouble with a capital T, mark my words, brother. Come on. You are being paranoid. Nah, man. I have seen this before. They are not trying to build anything. They are trying to find someone else to build it for them, and they just found their target. I should have listened to him from day one. Tony has this sixth sense about people, and he is literally never wrong. So, Brittany started hanging out with these 3 women who were all obsessed with becoming Instagram influencers. Let me tell you about each of these characters because they are important to understanding how this went down. First, there is Kayla, who is 28 and has been building her brand for 6 years while living in her parents' basement. She has got maybe 3,000 followers and makes about $50 a month from sponsorships. She drives her mom's 2015 Honda Civic, but her Instagram makes it look like she is living some glamorous life. Kayla posts these inspirational quotes over sunset photos and talks about manifesting abundance, while her biggest expense is her monthly data plan. Then there is Madison, who teaches part-time yoga, but spends most of her time posting workout photos and barely their outfits. Madison has about 8,000 followers, mostly thirsty guys. She makes maybe $200 a month from fitness sponsorships. She is constantly posting motivational content about living your best life and not settling for less than you deserve. Madison's whole thing is posting these sweaty gym selfies with captions about empowerment and knowing your worth. And the ringleader, Jenna, who is 29 and actually has around 75,000 followers, posting about her luxury lifestyle. Jenna posts photos from expensive restaurants, luxury hotels, and designer shopping trips. But Tony figured out pretty quickly that this was all funded by some older guy she was seeing. Essentially a sugar daddy situation. Jenna never posted photos with this guy, but somehow she was always traveling to expensive places and wearing designer clothes while claiming to be an entrepreneur and lifestyle coach. These women would have content creation sessions at our house twice a week. They would show up at 6 o'clock in the evening with bags full of equipment, ring lights, cameras, reflectors, props, different outfits. I am talking professional grade stuff that probably cost more than my monthly mortgage payment. They would completely take over my living room, moving all my furniture to the walls, setting up these elaborate lighting setups that look like a movie production. Then they would spend the next 4 hours taking hundreds of photos of themselves, pretending to laugh and have deep conversations. And I mean, hundreds. I watched Madison take 47 photos of herself holding the same coffee mug in slightly different poses. The fake enthusiasm alone was enough to drive anyone crazy. They would be posing with wine glasses filled with grape juice because they did not want to actually get drunk and mess up their makeup. Throwing their heads back in exaggerated laughter, pointing at nothing, making these ridiculous surprised faces like someone had just told them the most amazing news. The constant chatter was like nails on a chalkboard. Oh my god, that is so cute. Take another one. Wait, let me fix my hair real quick. The lighting is perfect right now. Don't move. This angle makes my legs look longer. This is definitely going to get so many likes. They would change outfits 3 or 4 times during these sessions. My living room would look like a clothing store had exploded in it. Dresses thrown over chairs, shoes scattered everywhere, makeup and hair products covering every flat surface. And they would leave a mess, too. I would find fake eyelashes stuck to my bathroom mirror, lipstick stains on my hand towels, and those sticky ring-like clips attached to my furniture for weeks afterward. But the real problem was what they were filling Brittany's head with. Suddenly, my wife was talking about how she deserved more, how she was wasting her youth, and how she needed to invest in her brand by buying $400 skincare sets and $600 outfits for content creation. Jenna was the worst influence. She would constantly tell Brittany things like, "You are so much prettier than most influencers I know. With your looks, you could easily have 100,000 followers. Investment in your appearance is investment in your future. You are literally sitting on a gold mine and not monetizing it." Tony would sometimes stop by after work and just observe this circus with the most bewildered expression. One time he quietly said to me, "These women are planning something. I can feel it in my bones. They are not just taking photos. They are recruiting your wife for something." I did not want to believe it at the time, but Tony was absolutely right. They were slowly but systematically breaking down Brittany's satisfaction with our life and building up her desire for something more glamorous. Brittany started posting increasingly revealing photos, bikini shots, gym selfies, those mirror photos where she is wearing almost nothing. When I mentioned it made me uncomfortable, she said I was insecure and trying to sabotage her growth. "All successful influencers post content like this," she would say. "It is called knowing your audience. You just do not understand social media marketing." Her follower count jumped from about 1,500 to 12,000 pretty quickly. She started getting direct messages from men, some even sending her money through payment apps just for existing. I discovered she had made nearly $600 one month from guys paying her for exclusive content. "See," she said, "when I brought this up, I told you this was a real business opportunity. These men are willing to pay good money just to support my content." That is when she started talking about maximizing her earning potential. About 8 months into this influencer obsession, Brittany approached me with what she called a business opportunity. This was in late February, the night before my birthday. Instead of a quiet evening together, she had prepared what looked like a PowerPoint presentation on her laptop. She had actually created a slideshow with 12 slides. The first slide said Brittany's influencer business plan with a photo of herself in a bikini as the background. I am not kidding. She had charts and graphs showing projected follower growth, estimated earnings at different milestones, and a breakdown of necessary investments. "Look at this," she said, clicking to slide 3. "Jenna makes $8,000 per month with 75,000 followers. Madison makes $2,500 with just 8,000 followers. If I can reach 150,000 followers, I can easily make $7,000 to $10,000 per month from sponsorships and fan support alone. But that is not even counting the exclusive content subscriptions and personal shopping commissions." She showed me screenshots of other influencers' earnings, examples of sponsorship offers that paid $500 for a single post, and calculations showing how much money she was leaving on the table by working a regular job. It was actually pretty thorough, which made it even more concerning. She had clearly spent weeks putting this together. "But here is the thing," she said, getting to slide 8. "I need to invest in my brand first. Professional photography sessions twice a week, better equipment, a complete wardrobe overhaul to match the aesthetic I'm going for. Premium skincare to maintain my appearance. The initial investment is significant, but the return potential is enormous. Here is where you come in," she said, getting to the final slide, which just said partnership opportunity with a photo of us together. "I need to quit my job and focus on this full time. I just need you to cover everything for maybe 8 months while I build this up. Think of it as investing in our future financial freedom. Other couples are doing this and making bank." The manipulation was so obvious looking back, but in the moment, she had me feeling like the bad guy for not supporting my wife's entrepreneurial dreams. She kept talking about how other husbands were investing in their wife's success and how this was the opportunity of a lifetime. She even started crying, saying she had never asked me for anything big before and that she just needed someone who believed in her potential. Like a complete fool, I agreed. She quit her job the next week, which had been bringing in about $38,000 annually. So now I am covering our $2,600 mortgage, all utilities, groceries, her shopping addiction, and her business expenses like professional photography sessions, and endless new outfits. The spending was absolutely insane. She would come home with bags from Nordstrom, Sephora, and boutique stores claiming it was all investment in her brand. A $200 dress became a content creation expense. A $150 skincare routine became maintaining her image for sponsors. Professional hair and makeup appointments twice a week at $120 each became business necessities. She got her nails done every week for $80 because hands are always in photos. She even justified a $400 handbag because it was a prop that appears in multiple posts. I started keeping track just out of curiosity. In her first month of full-time influencing, she spent $3,200 on clothes, $800 on beauty treatments, $600 on photography sessions, and $400 on various props and accessories. That is $5,000 in 1 month while making maybe $200 from sponsorships. When I brought this up, she said, "You have to spend money to make money. Every successful influencer invests heavily in their brand at the beginning. This is just the startup phase." Tony's reaction when I told him was priceless. "Dude, you just became a sugar daddy to your own wife." "It is not like that," I protested. "She is building a business. A business where you pay all the expenses and she takes all the profits. That is not a business. That is a hobby funded by her husband. Wake up, man." For about 4 months, Brittany posted content somewhat regularly. Her followers grew to around 18,000. She was making maybe $900 monthly from small sponsorships. But then she got lazy. She would sleep until 11 o'clock in the morning, spend 3 hours getting ready, take photos for 45 minutes, then shop or hang out with her friends all day. Meanwhile, I am working 55-hour weeks trying to cover all our expenses. I would come home exhausted to find the house a mess, no dinner prepared, and Brittany on the couch editing photos or scrolling through other influencers' content. When I brought this up, she said, "Content creation is mentally exhausting. You have no idea how much emotional energy this requires. Plus, I am networking and building relationships with potential brand partners." The breaking point came when I discovered she had spent $1,400 on a single outfit for what she called a brand collaboration photo shoot. It resulted in exactly 4 Instagram posts. Each photo had cost us $350. That is when Jenna started filling her head with even more dangerous ideas. Jenna rolled up to our house fresh from Miami, her Instagram bursting with 5-star hotels and $300 dinners. Her mystery benefactor had clearly upgraded her lifestyle, and now she had her sights set on my wife. I was wrenching on my truck in the garage when Jenna cornered Brittany for a strategy session. Through the open window, I heard every word of the pitch that would blow up my marriage. "Girl, you are literally in your prime earning years," Jenna said. "You could be making serious money with your looks, but you are stuck playing housewife." She painted a picture of networking companions, beautiful women paid to accompany wealthy businessmen to corporate dinners. "Completely professional," she insisted. "Just arm candy for business events. These men are CEOs, investors, politicians," Jenna explained. "They need attractive, intelligent women for business dinners. I have got regular clients paying $1,500 just for dinner appearances." My buddy Tony, helping with the truck, started shaking his head. "Dead serious," he whispered, "your wife is getting recruited into prostitution right now. But she said it was just appearances." "Brother, that is how it starts. They get them comfortable, then gradually introduce more services. Textbook recruitment." For an hour, Jenna delivered a masterclass sales pitch. The money, the luxury lifestyle, the powerful connections. Her selective agency only worked with Fortune 500 CEOs and successful investors. High-class professional companionship, she called it. Entry level is $600 to $1,200 per evening, Jenna revealed. But once you build relationships with regulars, you can charge $2,000 to $5,000 per event. And if you are open to additional services, well, the sky is the limit. I have one client who pays me $10,000 for weekend trips. Tony could not take it anymore and stormed inside, slamming the garage door. Men get insecure when they realize what women are really capable of earning, Jenna smoothly explained away his reaction. He is probably jealous Derek found such an ambitious wife. For 3 days, Brittany bounced around the house asking hypothetical questions about business dinners and networking events. Then came the bombshell. "I want to start companion work," she announced over breakfast, like she was signing up for yoga. I nearly choked on my coffee. "You want to go on dates with other men for money? They are not dates, they are business arrangements. It is networking. That is called escorting, Brittany. She went full defensive mode, spouting every talking point Jenna had fed her: security protocols, female empowerment, taking control of her earning potential. When I said it would destroy our marriage, she flipped the script. If you are not going to support my entrepreneurial goals, then maybe I need to seriously reconsider whether this marriage is right for me. Are you threatening to leave me if I do not let you become an escort? I need a partner who supports my dreams, not someone who tries to control me out of insecurity. That is when it hit me. I was not talking to my wife anymore. I was talking to someone who had been completely brainwashed. The woman I married was gone, replaced by Jenna's perfectly programmed recruit. The next day, Tony climbed into my truck during lunch break. All right. What is the plan? I told him about Brittany's ultimatum. So, she wants you to fund her escort career, he said flatly. Listen very carefully. Your wife wants to sleep with other men for money while you pay her rent. This is not complicated. So, what should I do? You are going to do exactly what she wants. You are going to give her all the freedom she can handle. Tony had developed a plan, and looking back, it was absolutely brilliant. First stop, his attorney's office. The sharp family law specialist laid it out in clear terms. Since your wife voluntarily quit her job and you have no children, you would not owe significant alimony, she explained. But if you can demonstrate she abandoned the marriage to pursue prostitution, that changes everything. In Texas, abandonment for immoral purposes means minimal financial obligation to the departing spouse. The second part of Tony's plan was documentation. We screenshotted all of Brittany's social media posts, especially ones with other men, and cryptic messages about toxic relationships. We tracked her spending patterns and business expenses, but the real shocker came when Tony did some internet detective work. Look at this, he said, showing me his phone after 20 minutes of searching. She has already got a profile on an escort site. Jenna had recommended professional photos, a detailed description, availability, calendar rates, everything. She is not planning to escort. She is already escorting. My stomach dropped. Professional photos I had never seen costing hundreds of dollars. A detailed description of her services and rates, from $800 for dinner companionship to $2,500 for overnight business travel. She was calling herself Amber and targeting discerning gentlemen who appreciate beauty, intelligence, and discretion. How long has this been up? Based on timestamps and reviews, about 2 weeks. She has been doing this behind your back while asking you to support it openly, and she has already got 3 5-star reviews from clients. Tony coached me on the crucial conversation during lunch breaks. She is going to try to manipulate you, he warned. She will cry, get angry, make you feel guilty, promise to change, threaten to leave. Don't fall for any of it. Stick to the plan. Friday night, Brittany was getting ready for another networking opportunity in a black dress I had never seen. Probably worth more than my truck payment. Hey, I said, sitting on our bed like we had practiced. I have been thinking about what you said. She stopped applying mascara. And you are absolutely right. I have been holding you back. Her face lit up. Really? You mean that? Yeah. You deserve to pursue your dreams without me standing in your way. So, I'm going to help you do exactly that. Oh my God, Derek. She practically ran over to hug me. I knew you would eventually understand. I am going to give you complete freedom to build your career however you want. Actually, I said, gently pulling back. I already found you an apartment. She stopped mid-sentence. What? Perfect. 1 bedroom downtown, close to all the networking venues. You can move in this weekend. I even paid the security deposit and first month's rent. That seems really fast. What about financial support? Oh, about that. I stood up casually. I think you should be completely independent. Prove to yourself you can succeed without anyone holding you back. But I thought you were going to support me while I build my business. Brittany, you are about to become a successful entrepreneur making thousands per week. You do not need me holding you back anymore. Understanding finally hit her. Wait, what exactly are you saying? I am saying you are free. Completely free. I will help you pack tonight. Her face went from confusion to shock to anger in 3 seconds. You are kicking me out. I am giving you what you asked for. Freedom to pursue your career without me holding you back. But I do not want to leave. I want to stay married and build my business. You cannot do both. You either want to be married or you want to be an escort. Pick one. Tony's plan had worked perfectly. She expected me to fund her escort career while staying married. She never expected me to call her bluff. The next 8 months were absolutely beautiful to watch unfold. It was like watching karma work in real time. I filed for divorce the Monday after Brittany moved out. She was so focused on her new career that she did not realize what was happening until she got served with papers. By then, I had documented everything thoroughly. In Texas, that is called abandonment. And it virtually guaranteed she would receive nothing. Meanwhile, I got front row seats to watch her successful career completely implode through social media. Turns out actual escort work is much harder than Jenna had made it sound. Within the first week, Brittany was posting Instagram stories about how challenging her new career was. She had expected to just show up at fancy restaurants and make easy money. Instead, she was dealing with creepy clients, unsafe situations, and the reality that most men who pay for escorts expect much more than dinner conversation. She lasted about 3 weeks before she realized these networking events were just wealthy men expecting intimate services. Her Instagram posts went from living my best life to growing through challenges to life is teaching me hard lessons. But here is what really made me smile. She was terrible at it. Brittany had always been high maintenance and entitled, which does not work well in the escort business. She would post cryptic stories about difficult people and learning to set boundaries. One post said something like, "Some people do not understand that this is a professional service with clear boundaries." Another was about recognizing red flags in business relationships. She burned through her savings in 6 weeks. The apartment I had paid the deposit for was $1,800 per month, and she was making maybe $2,000 per month from escort work when she could stomach doing it. Her follower count dropped from 32,000 to 15,000 because she could not afford professional photography anymore. But here is the beautiful part. Jenna completely disappeared. Her sugar daddy had found a younger replacement, and she could not maintain her lifestyle anymore. Suddenly, Jenna's Instagram went from luxury hotels and designer shopping to posting about new chapters and personal growth. The entire friend group fell apart when their leader abandoned them. Kayla went back to living with her parents. Madison started teaching more yoga classes, and they all stopped the group content creation sessions. Tony and I would occasionally check Brittany's Instagram for entertainment. She went from posting luxury lifestyle content to posting about her personal growth journey. Around month 4, she started posting about recognizing toxic relationships and how she was healing from emotional manipulation. I had become the villain in her revised story. The divorce was finalized in month 7. She received nothing except her personal belongings and the credit card debt she had accumulated, about $18,000. That is when the begging started, and it was both pathetic and satisfying to watch. First came the text messages, which started about 1 week after the divorce papers were served. "I made a huge mistake. I miss our life together. I was confused by bad influences. Can we please talk?" The messages became increasingly desperate as her financial situation got worse. I never realized how good I had it. Those women filled my head with lies. "I just want to come home." Then she started showing up at my job sites, which was both embarrassing and annoying. The first time I was in a meeting with a client about a custom home project when she pulled up in her car. She looked terrible, thinner than I had ever seen her, tired, wearing clothes I had never seen before that looked like they came from a discount store. Finally, she tried using other people as messengers, which was when I knew she was really desperate. She approached Tony at a gas station one evening when he was filling up his truck after work. "Please," she said, crying and grabbing his arm. "You have to convince Derek to talk to me. I know I messed up, but I can fix this. I just need another chance." Tony's response was perfect, and exactly what I needed to hear. "Ma'am, you traded a good man for a fantasy. That is your problem to solve, not his. But I learned my lesson. I know I made mistakes. I never should have listened to those women." "You did not make mistakes," Tony said, pulling his arm away. "You made choices. You chose to believe strangers over your husband. You chose to pursue prostitution over your marriage. You chose to prioritize money over love. Now you get to live with the consequences of those choices. But here is the real revenge. The truly sweet karma that makes this whole story worth telling. I had been investing all the money I was no longer spending on her lifestyle. About $3,800 monthly that previously went to her shopping, dining out, photography sessions, and business expenses. Instead of wasting it on her Instagram thirst trap career, I put it all into a diversified portfolio of index funds and real estate investments. By the time our divorce was finalized, I had made approximately $41,000 in investment returns. The market was good to me, and my construction industry knowledge helped me identify some undervalued real estate opportunities. I used that money as a down payment on a rental property, a nice 3-bedroom house in a good school district that now generates $950 monthly passive income. I also paid off my truck completely and built up my emergency fund to $50,000. 8 months later, I am financially better off than I have ever been in my life. My net worth has increased by over $75,000 since Brittany left. I am on track to be a millionaire by age 40, something that never would have happened while funding her lifestyle. I am also dating an elementary school teacher named Sarah, who I met through a friend at work. Sarah is 29, teaches second grade, and is the complete opposite of Brittany in every way that matters. She thinks my Ford F-150 is practical and reliable instead of embarrassing. She cooks dinner with me every evening and actually enjoys it instead of treating it like a chore. She has 347 Instagram followers and posts pictures of her garden, her cat, and occasionally a sunset. She has never once taken a photo of her food. When I told Sarah about my ex-wife's escort career, she looked genuinely confused and said, "Why would anyone want to do that? That sounds dangerous and degrading." Sarah appreciates our quiet life together. She likes that I am responsible with money and have long-term financial goals. She thinks it is cute that I restore old tools in my garage, and she will often sit out there with me while I work, reading a book, or grading papers. We take weekend trips to state parks for hiking, cook meals together at home, and are already talking about buying a bigger house together in a year or two. Brittany, last I heard through mutual friends, she is 28, working retail at a clothing store in a strip mall, living with 3 roommates in a sketchy apartment complex, and still trying to become an influencer with about 9,000 followers. She is back to posting about wanting to find a good man and build a stable life, which is ironic considering she had both and threw them away. The escort career lasted exactly 4 months. Turns out when you are entitled, high maintenance, and not actually willing to do the work required, even prostitution does not pay well. According to Tony's sources, she quit after a client got aggressive, and she realized how dangerous the whole thing actually was. She has tried dating through apps, but apparently it is not going well. Tony showed me some of her recent posts where she is complaining about men only wanting one thing and being tired of games. The irony is incredible. She left a marriage where she was loved and protected to enter a world where she was just another commodity. And now she cannot understand why men treat her that way. But the story gets even better. Last month, she contacted me through a mutual friend, someone from the pool party where we first met, asking if I could help her with rent because she was going through temporary financial difficulties. The mutual friend called me and said, "I know this is weird, but Brittany asked me to reach out. She is really struggling financially, and wanted to know if you might be willing to help her out just this once." My response was perfect. I sent our mutual friend a screenshot of my investment portfolio balance, which now shows over $220,000, along with a photo of the rental property I bought, and replied, "Tell Brittany that boring, stable life she used to mock is working out pretty well. She made her choice. Good luck with her networking career." The friend reported back that Brittany blocked me on all social media after receiving that message, which was fine by me.